This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the figures that came with the Cobra Rattler. Up first is number 183, the Baroness. So our Baroness figure here is the pilot version of her, brand new figure. Although I am suspecting that the body that they're using for this is maybe a pre-sculpt for doing a first appearance from the cartoon version of the Baroness, where she was wearing more of a light blue and green and outfit kind of thing. But that's just my suspicion. We'll find out in the future. But the front of the box, obviously we have a Rattler logo thing there. Actually, it looks like these go inside with the patches that come with the Rattler, which was, again, probably the dumbest unlock ever, but whatever. The box design is different, though, because it is the Rattler. Kind of the same as they did with the Dragonfly and the His Tank figures. On this side, as you saw earlier, is part of a 3-piece image that shows all the figures, but this one, of course, concentrating only on the Baroness, where it looks like something's exploding behind her and she's trying to shoot while she jumps out of the way, which, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not sure how well that would actually work in real life, but, you know. On the other side, we get a nice full color side view, kind of the same picture that we saw earlier, only in color. The little informational things in color, and a little Rattler down there in the bottom in color. And why do I say that? Because this looks a hell of a lot better than what they give us on our mainline G.I. Joes right here. This is what they need to be doing. But of course, they always concentrate on giving us that stupid QR code where you go to not an informational page, not some like really cool G.I. Joe archive you can look through. No, it's just a freaking sale page or whatever. Let's do this, Joe team. Let's do this with a box more often, okay? And then the back of the box, again, as you probably saw earlier, is part of a 3-part image. And the Baroness gets stuck with the ass end of the Rattler. That being said, let's go ahead and open her up and look at what she got. Oh, there's no tape on here. So here I am trying to preserve the box again. And I did some major damage. They could have made any of that tape easier to take off, could they? You know, it looks like the tape is yellowed too. Does this look like it's been sitting there for a while? We have a more interesting background for the Cobra Rattler crew, being that it looks like kind of like a smoky thing. May actually have to use this on the back of the thumbnails, for that matter. Here we have our Baroness. And I am really wishing right now I had brought a figure stand for her. Why are her ankles so weirdly positioned, though? She definitely has the stiletto heels that we usually think of with the Baroness. I don't know why they didn't give us a figure stands for these guys, though. That would have been really nice. There we go. All right. So the equipment she comes with here is, I don't have a clue what this is supposed to be. Is this a pouch of some sort that hooks onto something, or? I have no idea. I didn't watch enough of the unboxing that they did to figure out random parts. Unless... Okay, I see what it is. So it matches up with this thing, which would attach to her mask, which then I think is supposed to attach here. So when she doesn't have her mask on there, you put that in place there on her chest. We have her helmet with the snake, bat, rat, I don't know what it is, at the top of it. Truth of the matter is, it reminds me of a rat more than anything else, which I guess it could be for the Rattler, except for, the Rattler's actually a type of snake. So, like I said, I don't know what exactly it's supposed to represent. I'm sure they've told us what it's supposed to be, but I'm just saying from the point of view of somebody who's looking at it, who didn't listen, it's hard to tell what it's supposed to be. A snake, a rat, or a bat. Basically, I will be referring to this as the animation rifle with a removable magazine. But yeah, this is styled kind of like after the generic rifles that we saw in G.I. Joe. Although I don't think it's the same one that has come with our retro card backs. It does look a little different to me. I could be wrong. She's got a couple pistols. I'm pretty sure we've seen these multiple times in the past. Although it does have kind of like that greenish metallic paint on the top. Same with its twin. Then what we have here is what I'm assuming is her air hose that would attach to the mask here. In some way, shape, or form. Okay, like that. We have her ear protection / communications setup array. In other words, her communications headset is what I'm trying to say. And then we have a pair of Baroness glasses, which are always fun to try to get on her. Okay, again, the hair pops off. We haven't really talked about that yet because we also have 3 different hair sculpts for her. Bun, hair kind of pulled back. Let's actually go ahead and do... Well, I was trying to get the glasses on, wasn't I? I'm all over the place, aren't I? Because now the challenge is figuring out how to get the glasses on her. There we go. Looking good. Head sculpt 1. She's got... Actually, this is the longest hair we've gotten on a Baroness figure. It looks really good. Just going to note, they did kind of sculpt her ass a bit with a crack. It looks really good. Not as good as it could have been, but looks really good. Maybe the Joe team is finally starting to learn some lessons here on female anatomy. I'm actually... Her harness actually comes off. Oops. Jeez. Okay. With her harness off, she may have the biggest breasts in the line thus far in this figure, which is good. Although, based on what I've seen from the San Diego Comic-Con, Pythona is going to beat her in that regard. Again, I think the Joe team finally learned that female anatomy and that women have different sized breasts and that they're not all A to B cups. Let me wait. Oh, shoot. No wonder that looked weird. Part of that folded in. Hold on. This hairdo was actually smashed in the package, so that's part of the issue here. This may be... Actually, I think the helmet's meant without the Baroness's hair at all. I was thinking maybe this was the hairdo that goes in the helmet, but... This one, it does not seem like you can really put her glasses on with. We haven't talked about her face yet. We've been mostly dealing with the hair. And it's a really short hairdo. But the actual head sculpt itself, from what I can see right now, everything looks really good. I like the lipstick color that they used with her. Again, Joe team's finally learning that women put makeup on. I'm not as impressed with this hairdo as I am with the first one, though, to be fair. Especially since I'm not sure if this is, I'm not sure where they got this one from. But is this one maybe that works best with the headset? Because that is certainly a possibility, right? Maybe it goes on that way. Let's go ahead and try the third hairdo. Oh, I had it backwards. I actually really like this hairdo too, especially the way the hair falls in the front. And yeah, all three sides are a little bit different. The bun going up there looks really nice. The question is, though, is this one that works with her glasses or not? I would say no. I would definitely say that only one hairdo is designed to work with glasses, which is kind of a shame, really. I might have to watch some other videos though to see if somebody else has figured out how to do this. Because, like, in the case of this one, there is actually some grooves on the side of the hair inside to allow the glasses to go there. But on all these ones where her ears are fully showing, there's no groove and the glasses don't really fit over it very well. Let's go ahead and put her harness back on, shall we? Because before we get into articulation, we still got to put the helmet on there. And getting that peg back in place is a pain in the ass. You know, the bottom of her soles are yellow. I don't know if that's a specific shoe brand or not, but I do know there's one brand that uses like red soles. So here's her, well, here's her head. All right, so we have our helmet, which I believe, based on the way it looks, you're not going to be able to fit that on her head with the hair pieces in place. Ugh. Definitely not going to fit this on there with a hairpiece. Barely able to fit it on her with without the hair in place. So there we got her helmeted head. This is going to be such a pain in the ass to take pictures of. All right, we'll pull out the pouch in the front there. We'll grab our tube and pouch. We do have a couple of little tabs to go into the little slots on the side of the helmet. That fell out. That's not surprising. Like, it's really hard to line up the mask and the helmet. All right, so we'll attach this to the front. And we'll try to attach the front on both of these things, I guess. All right, so here we've got the Baroness all dialed up in her helmet and respirator, ready to pilot a Rattler. And we'll stick her guns in the thigh holsters here. You know, I'm glad they did give us what looks like an almost completely new body. Although this may share parts with Scarlet from the Retro Collection, to be honest. But that does also kind of make me think that we'll get another version of the Baroness at some point, probably in the main line. But this version looks really nice. Articulation-wise, the head is... Technically, you can't really move the head when the air hose is in place. Actually, oh, crap on a cracker. All right, we know that once that's all set up, you're not going to be able to move the head. So let's just go ahead and take that off now. We're going to go ahead and do her initial hair sculpt. Actually, which isn't going to allow it much movement either because it's basically sculpted to her back. But we can kind of turn her head a bit. We can look down for sure. Can't really look up with that hairdo, but we can kind of look over to the sides. And I guess we do get more motion than I was really expecting from it. We've got butterfly joint. Forward and back a little bit. Not much, but it's a female figure, so they have the small torso to work with, so less of a joint, I guess. Hinge arm up and down. Cobra Rattler sign there. Patch over there. Spin her arm at the bicep. G.I. Joe is keeping the double jointed elbows on their female characters, unlike Mattel with their Masterverse. Hand has a spin. And she has the in and out hinge and not the up and down on this hand. The other hand also has the in and out hinge as well. So we seem to be seeing that more and more in G.I. Joe, aren't we? She has a spin at the waist. And she has a boob cut. Right there. Although, surprisingly, the harness itself is not interfering too much with the boob cut. Because it is only like a halfway harness, so it is literally just covering her chest. So that gives us a pretty decent range of motion, where most of the time with these harnesses, they cut off the ab crunch or the boob cut. Obviously, there is a waist articulation here. But of course, the one issue with that is this belt. Well, theoretically, it shouldn't interfere with the waist movement. It's almost impossible to move the waist without holding on to it. But the belt does go from her... Actually, let's see if we can push that down a bit. Oh, yeah, that belt right there. That is definitely giving off that first appearance vibes right there. Push that down a little bit more. We get the belt down to the hips. So we do have a little bit more range with the torso. And again, if you guys can see that, definitely looks like pre-tooling for that first appearance Baroness. Thigh rotation. Double joint at the knee. Boot cut. Hinge at the ankle with the spin. And there is kind of like, it feels like a ratchet in there. So they kind of give it the bumpy one. So I think this may be the best version of the Baroness they've given us so far. Well, I do like the armored up one that looks a little bit more like what we saw in most of G.I. Joe. I'm not going to lie, the single fact that she's actually got the high heels on this one does, in my opinion, make her superior to the other ones because they kept giving her flats. And one thing in the cartoon is the Baroness did wear high heels. Not necessarily stilettos, but you know. Baroness, Cobra Intelligence Officer, Primary Military Specialty Intelligence, Secondary Military Specialty Fixed Wing Pilot, Birthplace Classified. The spoiled offspring of a wealthy European aristocrats, the Baroness graduated from student radicalism into international terrorism and finally into the ranks of Cobra. She was severely burned during a Cobra night attack operation and has had extensive plastic surgery. Rumor has it that she is the only one who knows Destro's secret identity. Qualified expert M16, AK-47, RPG-7, Uzi, his tank operator. Her principal weakness is the division of her loyalty between Cobra Commander and Destro. Her chief strength would seem to lie in her ability to play them against each other. So one of my viewers recently recommended I should consider doing a height comparison. So I've got Tiger Force Duke, Sergeant Slaughter, this Baroness, the first retro card back Baroness, and Lady J here. What's interesting to note is that even though the new Baroness has a pair of high heels on, she is about the same height as the previous Baroness was. I'm kind of thinking that maybe the height difference comes from the torso somehow, because her butt's a little higher too on the new one, and the shoulders are about the same height. I'm not going to lie, I am a little bit too lazy to actually measure all the different body parts to try to see which part is the smaller. Overall, I think she looks really good, and I definitely am glad I've got multiples of her. My plan, as I've mentioned in the Rattler video, I want to display two of the Rattlers, one with the Baroness piloting, and then also have another Baroness just out on the land, which, interestingly enough, I really like the little bun hairdo. And I got 3 Rattlers, so I got 3 Baronesses. So what I'm thinking is Baroness inside the pilot with this, one with this hairdo, and one with that hairdo. This hairdo, while interesting, definitely does not fall into any kind of favored category for me. I didn't actually realize that they were going to give us 3 different hair pieces, to be honest with you. I thought we were only getting 2 hair pieces and the pilot's helmet. Why don't you guys let me know what you think of this Baroness in the comments below? And if you did get the Rattler, are you excited about this figure, or was this one you didn't really care about as far as unlocks go? I've said before with the Snowcat videos that I think new alternate versions of already existing characters are a good unlock on these things. So I definitely appreciate this one. And this, again, may be one of the best Baronesses they've given us so far. But if you've enjoyed this video, please feel free to rattle that like button. And if you'd like to subscribe, I'd appreciate it. You'll hear more of my nonsense. Thank you for watching. Peace and love.